And we are live. Good morning, everybody. A little bit early today because I have something to do, so I had to do it at 8:30 instead of the 9 o'clock. I could still go to about 10 maybe, but again, I have something I have to do today, so that's why I did a little bit early, but I'm glad to see some of you already here. Good morning to everybody. It is August 22nd. Here's Sunday, 2021, of course, 8:32 a.m. Pacific time, a little bit early, I know that. I apologize for those waiting for 9 o'clock, but I have to do it a little bit early. Something has come up, no big deal. But I definitely wanted to get in a live stream today because I am really liking what I'm reviewing right now, of course, and that is what we see here, and you can see it on the bottom two panels, and that is, of course, the Lenovo IdeaPad 5 Pro 16, both the Intel and AMD variant. This is the AMD, this is the Intel variant. I want to say good morning to everybody. Apology again for those who wanted to wait till 9 o'clock. I had to do it a little bit earlier today. We're here, we're live, let's do it. Let's say hello to a few people. I see Executor Raptor in the house. Good to see you. And good morning, Mallory. Yes, I'm a little bit early. Everything's going well. Hopefully everything going well with you. Good to see you here. I'm glad maybe one of the benefits of going early, we get to see you today. That's good. I'm happy. Duck Vision, what up, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see Manuel here as well. People, hit that thumbs up so we can get this heard over, or spread out over YouTube, rather. It is for Than, it's 22:30. So what is that? 11:30 in wherever you are. And then we got Jacqueline Johnson. Good to see you. And how please do a GPU comparison between these two? Yeah, I didn't see a big difference, to be honest with you. We're talking about the AMD Ryzen. Now, this has the GTX 1650. This one has the MX 450. And when we looked at the numbers, I didn't see a huge disparity between the two. We're going to talk more about that in this live stream. And I'm glad to see we have already 39 of you watching. For those of you joining late, again, we're looking at the Lenovo IdeaPad 5 Pro 16-inch that I got delivery about 48 hours ago. I did my first video. For those that didn't see it, check it out. Link will be in the description below. And I am, hopefully this videos will do well. The last couple of videos tanked. Kind of like the lull right now before the storm, I guess. And speaking of the storm, hopefully everybody on the East Coast will stay safe as the hurricane is approaching. Hopefully you are all taking precautionary measures, of course. So good to see everybody. Let's see who else is here. Did I not say hello to? I think we got everybody. So let's get right to business. What do you say? I know it's a little bit early, but let's just do it. We've got the AMD processor in here. This is the Ryzen 7 5800H. That is a Zen 3 AMD processor. And looking good as far as the numbers are concerned, as you saw in the video. And then the one on to the right has the Core i7-11370H. That is a Tiger Lake processor that is 4 cores, 8 threads. This one, the AMD, is 8 cores, 16 threads. So better multi-core performance, as you saw from the numbers. Both of them are very good in terms of the displays. We have a 16:10 aspect ratio here, as you can see here. These are 350 nit rated displays. They are getting over 350. I think I got over 360 on both, so that is very good. Bright enough for both indoor and outdoor use. They are matte displays. You don't get any unnecessary glare or reflections. Thin bezels, which I like to see. And it is a QHD resolution, 2.5K, 2560 by 1600, the same exact display on both models. And what I'm loving about this laptop so far is the fact that you're getting pretty much nice specs in a not so premium price tag. And when I say that, I mean it won't break the bank. There is a SKU here in the United States that sells the AMD version minus the GPU. That is something to keep in mind. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, and I'll go into that in a little bit. Minus the GPU at a very affordable $999, considering what you're getting with that Ryzen 7 5800H. That is the performance one. If you need more performance, this is your baby right here. The one on the right is not quite as good as far as the performance, not bad either. That one has a dedicated GPU as well, the MX450. This one, of course, has the GTX 1650. And this one, the MX450, didn't do that much less than the 1650. So I don't know if the 1650 is giving you all that much as opposed to the integrated Radeon graphics that you get on this, or the XE graphics on the Intel model. These are all metal design, by the way, except there is plastic around the bezels, but they are thin bezels. And these have, just to go over the specs, of course, these have 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. They're soldered into the motherboard, which, of course, is a little bit disappointing, but not totally unexpected at this price point. Again, there are models that are at a higher price point, of course, that are not on this line, that do have replaceable or upgradable by the user in terms of the RAM. Now, the SSD is user replaceable, but you get very fast SSDs. If you saw the video, you saw the numbers. Very fast reads and writes, over 3,000 on both. Both models did very well in that regard. So you get 16 gigabytes of RAM. That is a limitation on this, right? So you can't go beyond that. I don't see, unless the Intel model, and I think I saw one marketing material from Lenovo that might have said 32 gigabytes of RAM, and there was potentially an option for an RTX 3000 series GPU. I haven't seen that. What I have here is, again, on the AMD model, Ryzen 7 5800H. This has the GTX 1650. And this one has the Intel, as I said, Core i7 11370H. And that, of course, is a Tiger Lake processor. It also has integrated Iris Xe graphics with a dedicated GPU, a discrete GPU, the MX450 from NVIDIA. So watching from Australia, my friend, good. How are you from down under? Nice to see you from Melbourne, 1:30 a.m. So I'm glad you're able to catch this. So I will catch the replay tomorrow. Thank you, Phil, for coming and stopping by. Biggest benefit, according to Duck Vision, of the 1650 is the 4 gigabytes of VRAM versus the 2 gigabytes on the MX450, or almost none on the XE graphics. Right, so you do get a little bit of a benefit, not much. I didn't see huge differences. And we could bring up the benchmarks as I have them saved here. Let's go on the AMD, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. On the AMD model here, so you're going to see as far as the Geekbench, as you see here, 1402 single core score, and the multi-core score is 7290. Let me go to the Intel for a moment. Give me a second. Okay, so this one, both on performance mode. That's why I put on this one. 5161 multi-core score, 1583 single-core score. So single-core goes to the Intel, multi-core score goes to the AMD. Not a surprise. I think this is pretty consistent to what we've been seeing from these two chips, and obviously that's what we're looking at. So that's the Geekbench. Let me minimize that for a moment. All right, now, if we take a look, this is the GTX 1650 on the OpenCL. And this is the MX450. So you don't see a huge difference between the GTX 1650 or the MX450. Very similar scores, a little bit higher, of course, on the GTX 1650. Not huge, that's for sure. And then if we go to the integrated Radeon graphics, 16,000, did pretty good actually for the Radeon. And it actually did a little bit better than the XE graphics. I think I might have had something running in the background on that one. But again, you get the picture, you get the idea. Not huge disparity with the integrated graphics. So there you go. Now, when I did go to do let's go to the R15 as far as Cinebench is concerned, you can see that the R15 on the AMD model did 155.90 on the OpenGL. The Cinebench R15 on the AMD did for the OpenGL 137.35, so a little bit better on the AMD as far as the graphics, and that has to do with that GTX 1650. Not huge disparity, but a little bit of a bump over the Intel model, of course. And then the CPU score, 1924 versus 1024. You see, that's where the AMD multi-core score and the multi-core power of it comes into play. Almost double, 1924. You're looking at 1024 on this one. So 1924 and 1024. So you see a nice big difference. Now, the refresh rate on these displays, by the way, and one of the things I love about it, 120 hertz. Yes, 120 hertz, which is going to be great. Very smooth, very nice in terms of scrolling. You don't see any jelly effect or any kind of lag. Really nice, smooth effect with that 120 hertz display. That's going to be great for gaming as well. So I'm very impressed with what they were able to pack into this at pretty much at about $1,000, right? So you're looking at around $1,000, where a lot more expensive laptops don't have 120 hertz displays. So very, very impressive. Bright displays. Nothing here as deal breakers as far as I'm concerned. Looking very good. So let's get to some of your questions here. Which would I buy with my hard-earned money? Well, it just depends. I think if you want sheer performance, better multi-core, if you do a lot of things that require multi-core, obviously the AMD is the way to go. But if you are a fan of the Intel, and of course good performance there as well, I have the Core i7 there, and it worked fine as far as the benchmarks, very good numbers. Thermals have been good on both of these models, and I'm going to get into that in the individual reviews. So if I had to put my money, I probably would go with the AMD with the GTX 1650, although that one at Costco minus the GTX 1650 at $999 still is a great deal, because the Radeon graphics have been pretty good, and the real great CPU performance, especially multi-core with that Ryzen 7 5800H, has been great. And correct, that is the RAM. So the RAM, if you need more video RAM, obviously the AMD will be better with that GTX 1650 at 4 gigabytes of video RAM. I think this might have 2 on this one with the MX450, but I'll have to double check. And according to Duck Vision, the differences will come on certain games or tasks that require more VRAM. If the tests you run don't utilize the VRAM, the results will look similar. Right, so the differences will come up on, right. So again, that is depending on what you're doing with the laptop. So again, your needs may be different from somebody else's, so there you go. Does the Intel version have the same display as the one on the AMD? Yes, it does. They have the same exact display. Both are 16-inch QHD 2.5K display, resolution of 2560 by 1600. That is a 16:10 aspect ratio. Beautiful displays, very bright. Oh, I think bright enough, I should say. Not over 400 nits, but they're rated at 350, and I've gotten over that. I got 362 on average between the two. So you're looking at very bright displays, no glare, no reflections. These are matte displays or anti-glare displays. You don't see you don't see hardly any reflections or glare. So that is pretty awesome as far as I'm concerned. And I really like it. If you switch to 120 hertz, if you switch to 120 hertz, 60 hertz will seem super slow. That is correct. That is correct. The battery on the AMD would last a little bit longer. Well, that's what I thought, actually, Executor Raptor. Funny you should say that. I got an hour less for some reason on the AMD, and I'm still trying to figure that one out. This did an hour more. This did, on my initial test, I got, I believe, 9 hours on my continuous web surfing test, a little bit more than 9 hours. There's a little bit more than 8 hours. So I'm not really sure. Again, I'll do some more testing on it. But you would think the AMD would be a little bit more efficient. That is not the case between these two. My guess is the GTX 1650 is taking up more power. And that's one of the reasons why, by the way, you're seeing that this one uses the proprietary connector and has a bigger or more wattage as far as the power supply is concerned. This is a 135 watt power supply versus the, 95 USB-C on this one. This doesn't draw as much power, doesn't need as much power as this one. And that might be the reason as far as the disparity when it comes to the The battery life, again, I'm getting an hour more on the Intel model over the AMD. But it's a very interesting question. Manuel has asked, hi, Andrew, I've raised a question about the BIOS whitelist rewriting in order to install new Wi-Fi cards, especially on Lenovo and HP brands. Let's discuss it. Yeah, I'm not really, I don't know too much about it. As far as the Wi-Fi card, Manuel, on these, it is socketed in. That means you can hopefully upgrade it as long as the BIOS will play with that. In other words, it will cooperate. But yeah, that's definitely something that might be of interest. We could talk about it later if we have some time. William Cohen is here. How are you? These PCs look nice. Can you put an SD card in the unit and show how it sticks out? I can. It's going to stick out a little bit. Let me get an SD card. Just give me a second here. Give me a second. Okay, back. I have an SD card, and we can put it in this one. So you see it's all the way in. It sticks out 3/4, I would say. About 1/4 of it is in, so you can get a good idea there. And there you have it. So for those wondering, that's how far in the SD card goes. Kind of wish it was a little bit more into the laptop, so you'll have something less of sticking out, of course. It less likely to break off if you knock against it or something like that. But that's how much, as you can see, William, that's how much it sticks out. And it's the same thing on the Intel model. They're pretty much physically the same. The keyboard layout's exactly the same. You got a numeric keypad on both. And a little bit shallow on the key travel, but it's the typical Lenovo smile-shaped keys. There is 2 stages of backlight. Lights up white, and works pretty well as far as the keyboard. I like the keyboard quite a bit. And the touchpad, as you can see, and I'll take myself off here as you can see it better, you can see is a little bit off-center towards the left, typical of a 15 or 16-inch laptop that does have the numpad, as we do have here. Not a big deal. It takes a little bit of time to get used to, but once you do, it's second nature, and it doesn't really affect. I don't really have a problem with it. And as far as the touchpad is concerned, I thought it was very responsive. Scrolling was very smooth. The gestures worked. I mean, there was no complaint here on that front. I have no issues with it. There have been no problems with it at all. I've been very happy with it. Now, the one area that I'm not crazy about is the speakers. They're bottom-facing speakers. They're Dolby Atmos speakers, and they're okay, a little bit tinny and not the loudest, especially for a 16-inch laptop. I think they skimped on that in a little bit. But of course, you could always use a good pair of wired headphones or Bluetooth headphones for a better audio experience. And there you go. I already covered that, Mr. Live for One. Which GPU is in both models? On this one, the GTX 1650 with 4 gigabytes of video RAM. On this one, the MX 450, believe it's 2 gigabytes of video RAM, but don't quote me on that. I'm just guessing, but I'm thinking that's what it is. But anyway, didn't see a huge disparity as far as the OpenCL score on that Geekbench test of the GPUs. You will notice it a little bit better on this one, of course, the 1650 over the MX 450. Not a huge disparity, to be honest. We've got, all right, we're getting people in here, I guess, because I was a little bit early today. Again, I have something to do today, so that's why I had to go a little bit early. The ZenBook 13 OLED or the IdeaPad 5 Pro, which would you go for, considering only display when in the full review of the ZenBook? Oh, I am so behind, people. I apologize on so many of these reviews. I thought I would have some help here, but that fell through. So it's all me right now once again. And the ZenBook is an excellent choice, especially with that OLED display. I will have that full review. I just got to get everything done. I'm so behind. I got the NV17, the 15. I mean, I am just so behind. So I apologize for those who are waiting. It's coming. Just bear with me. I appreciate your patience. But having said that, which would I prefer? Well, these are two different laptops because this has a 16-inch display, right? Whereas the the one with the OLED, of course, on the Asus is a OLED display but that's a 13-inch display. So a really big difference. I think it's like comparing apples to oranges. It just depends on what your needs are. So it's hard to answer that. That full review, by the way, is coming soon. The GTX 1650 makes a difference. Not a huge difference, Mr. Live for One. I was a little surprised. I thought I'd see a little bit better on this one as far as that 1650. Now, there is rumors that there is models or SKUs with the RTX 3000 series. I don't know which one, maybe a 3050, 3060 maybe. I haven't seen it, and I don't know. I don't have confirmation of that, and I don't know if it's Intel only. And then I saw also, I think it was the Intel one, where you could there's a possibility of getting one with 32 gigabytes of RAM and an RTX 3000 series. So I don't know, but right now, what you can get right now here in the United States are this one you can get in Costco, $9.99, everything the same except minus the GTX 1650. Now, at $9.99, I don't care too much about the GTX 1650. The integrated Radeon graphics so far have been looking good on this. And that price tag with this display, with this build quality, really hard to beat, to be honest. And the link, of course, non-sponsored, non-affiliate link is in the description. I'm not making any money with them. I am not affiliate of Costco, but I want to give you the best price, of course. And then, of course, you can get the i5 on Amazon. That is an affiliate link for this one. And that's not bad. It's, I think, 11300H processor. That's for about $929, and that's not a bad price considering the quality of the display, the quality of the build. Very good for this level of laptop. I got to say, super impressed. And I'm glad, Ji Wang, you were able to find me live here today, and you found my channel recently, and you love the videos. So I'm glad to see that you are happy to be here, and I'm happy to have you, that's for sure. Jeremy, how are you, my friend? Did you hear about the Surface Book 4 design? It will be a non-detachable display, and you'll pull the display forward like the Surface Studio. We'll have a dynamic refresh rate and RTX graphics. Yes, that's what I'm hearing, and I can't wait. If that is the case, if it gets released, I will definitely review it. There is no question about that. So there you go. No, I'm early, my friend. Eugene, I'm early because I started a half an hour early. I have something to do today, so I wanted to make sure we got in the stream get a full stream in. But did you review the right or left model? So I got the review today of a first look on both. So it's a 15-minute video. Again, go to my channel. It's there. You'll see I go over both, and my first looks are almost like better than most people's reviews in a lot of ways. I give you a lot of detail. All right. The AMD version, according to Duck Vision, has the option for the RTX 3050 and 32 solid RAM, only available in certain countries, not the USA. Yeah, I noticed that. That's why I brought it up, Duck. And unfortunately, that would be great. But again, I don't see them bringing it here. We're lucky to get these, I guess. So take it for what it's worth. Can you give us the i7 11370H variant link? I don't have it. I'm still looking for one where you can find that, at least here in the US. There might be available in Europe. I'll update the links when I'm done. But right now, the only one I could find so far, and it's in the link in the description of this live stream, is the one with the Core i5 on this. But I'm still hunting. Things change, so stay tuned. I will update if I get any other information. Is the NVX 360-15 with the Ryzen 57U upgradable to 32 gigabytes of RAM? It should be, right? I believe it is. Jimmy, I believe it is. Let's stay on topic. Let's keep to these for now. We'll get into later part of the live stream. We can get into other stuff. All right, we got 60 of you watching, only 41 likes. What's the deal, people? Can you do me a favor? Hit that like button. If you want to become a member of this channel, there are 3 tiers. Help support the channel, of course. That always helps financially because it does get very expensive to run this channel. Obviously, it goes without saying. And then, of course, you can also do super stickers, super chats if you want to get your comment or question heard first or get priority. That would be great. That also helps support the channel. And what are the other ways? Well, how about hit that like button and just watch, give me that watch time, spread it out, share the videos over the social medias and so forth, and there you go. Thank you for your channel. Great evening for me. Yeah, thank you, Eugene, for watching. I appreciate that. So yeah, 44. We got to get the likes up. There you go. Yeah, I see 44 also, Mallory. By the way, good to see you, Mallory, once again. Happy that you're here a little bit early, so maybe that works out great for everybody. I know you do your own thing at 10 o'clock, I guess, overlaps with, 9 o'clock overlaps with what I'm doing. So let's keep going here. Let's see what else. Any other questions? So my takeaway for these two so far, 48 hours in, right? So what do I think of these two? I think that these are some very intriguing options here, especially if you want an option that is not a MacBook Pro with a 16-inch display. These are pretty interesting in terms of the price, especially this AMD model, because this AMD model has some very good multi-core performance, and that's been pretty good. Now, according to William, wish they made the RAM upgradable. I do too, but again, at this price point, they had to make certain sacrifices, I guess, but they didn't want to cannibalize other sales of other lines, so that's always something they need to contemplate. But again, good value for the money, as you point out, and I agree. It's definitely good in that regard. 52 now. All right, so at least we're getting it up. 62 people are watching. We got about 80 earlier. Hopefully, it fluctuates. And now Mallory's been doing the Clubhouse thing, and if those didn't check it out, go over to Clubhouse, check out Mallory. She's got some really great stuff there. We're going to have her on one of these days to talk more about that. Does either one of the Lenovo fingerprint readers? No, Jacqueline, no fingerprint reader. Again, you'll have to use, oh, by the way, these have Windows Hello cameras. That means they're face recognition, login, of course, and no fingerprint scanners. So they have cameras on it. The cameras are, I would say, adequate. I mean, if you want to do Zoom or Skype or something like that, you'll be fine. Nothing great. And the internal mics are good too. They're not terrible. They're not great either. Again, check out the video. I show you an example of both in that video I released this morning. And speaking of that video, let me just check to see how it's doing. It's doing okay. We got about 1,300 views, 1,400 views coming up on. So pretty interesting stuff. Pretty interesting stuff. Andrew, what are your thoughts on the Alder Lake chips announced earlier this week? It will speed up PCs by 30% while saving battery power. It could be a big deal. Yeah, but of course, we'll see if those numbers are actually the actual numbers when we get them to test. But on paper, it looks good. It's the big little chip, right, where it has smaller form factor, I guess, with more cores. I don't know too much about the Alder Lake. I'm going to look more into it, but I'm excited. If some of the claims that they're making come to fruition, I would be very happy with that. Should I buy the Lenovo IdeaPad 516 or the HP Envy 17? Well, the 17, by the way, my review, I'm almost done with it. I know I'm late on that. Again, 16 to 17, that's a bigger laptop. That's a much bigger laptop. It's a heavier laptop. These are about 2 kilograms a piece, or this is actually 1.9. This one's 2 kilograms, 4.4 pounds. I think this is 4.2. Pretty much portable as far as a 16-inch laptop. I mean, it's pretty good. As far as the 17-inch HP Envy, the HP Envy 17, a bigger laptop with more screen real estate, although this 16-inch with a 16 to 10 is good. The HP Envy 17 is a 16 to 9. I think I like the 16 of this one better, but again, I have to think more about it. Can we get ASMR for the keyboard? Would be cool. I'm not really set up with the microphones for it, but that's maybe something we can do in the future. All right, let me see if I don't want to miss any. I apologize if I miss any of your questions. Again, hit that thumbs up, people. Again, super chat, super stickers are open. Help support the channel. Everything is definitely appreciated. All right, so cameras on this. Let's talk about the cameras for a minute. Let's bring them up, actually. I can give you a solid example here. So 720p, 30 frames per second. All right, 720p, 30 frames per second, and not bad. I mean, I've seen a lot worse, to be honest with you, so not too bad. little bit noisy, I guess. I don't know what's the word. Cloudy. It's okay. They'll get the job done. But again, I would like to start seeing better webcams. We started to see some from HP. Hopefully we'll see some from Dell soon and Lenovo as well. So I think we're going to get that. Now, I'm waiting on, and I reached out to Lenovo to see about getting the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 4. Right now, they don't have it for me yet, but they know I want to review it. They know you've been asking. So bear with me as I wait for a review unit. When it was released, by the way, it was over $3,000 on the website. Then it was slashed in half or something to that effect. I think it was starting at about $1,900 or something like that. And then it was said it was unavailable the last I checked. And there you go. Good morning to Robert. What would you recommend either of these laptops be used for office, student, gamer, etc.? What do you think of they are geared towards day to use? So good question, Robert. I think these are great general all-around, all-purpose laptops. You can game on them. I will show you in the upcoming video. You can on both of them. And you can do spreadsheets because it has the numeric keypad, as you see here. And then, of course, you do all kinds of everyday tasks without any issues. So very, very good. I like the keyboard on it. I think the thermals have been good so far. All metal design. They weigh about 4 pounds or something around that area, and or 2 kilograms. And I'm telling you, this is a really good deal, especially at the price. If you can get this at a good price, the one at Costco right now, $999 for the AMD model minus the discrete GPU. That's the GTX 1650. But even without it, with the integrated Radeon graphics, which are very good, I think they're the Vega 8. Very good. Now, keep in mind, the Ryzen 7 5800H is an 8-core, 16-thread processor. So you're going to get very good multi-core performance, and that's one of the reasons you saw better results on, say, something like the Geekbench multi-core score. It had over 7,000 as opposed to about 5,000 or so on the Intel variant. So there you go. So good question, Robert. Thanks for asking that because that is really good. I see the Intel version charging at a proprietary port, or does it support USB charging too? Good question. Yes. So this charges via USB-C as well. It's over here. It's a USB-C 3.2, and it charges, it does display, and it does data. So it's a full function USB-C port. This has a Thunderbolt 4/USB 4 port right over here. This is obviously a Thunderbolt 4, which could allow you to do multiple 4K monitors, one 8K monitor, or you can connect to Thunderbolt docks, and that gives you a lot of options as well. And of course, external GPUs for more graphics performance. So a lot more options when it comes to this. This USB-C does data, charge, display out. It's all full function. So you don't necessarily, on the AMD model, have to rely on that proprietary adapter. You can use USB-C adapters. This one is 135 watts. And again, the reason they need it on this one as opposed to this one, this will draw more power, especially with that GTX 1650 Ti. It also has an 8-core, 16-thread CPU, whereas this one has a 4-core, 8-thread CPU, and it has an MX450. Won't require as much wattage, and therefore you get the 95-watt USB-C charger. I'm using the Dell on this right now, but again, shows you that you can use any USB-C charger. So Duck Vision says these do seem like really good all-around laptops, especially for the price. So getting back to what Robert was asking, so who do I see these for? What do I see them as far as, let me just change that to here. Who do I see these for, right? So a student would definitely benefit from it. Price to performance ratio is excellent. It's not terribly heavy. It's pretty portable, actually. It's got a 16:10 aspect ratio, and let's not underestimate or let's not understate the importance of having a 120 hertz display. And somebody said it earlier, once you go to 120 hertz, it's very hard to go to a 60 hertz display. And that is absolutely true, not only for smartphones, but it is true for laptops as well, especially when you do scrolling, web browsing stuff. It is much smoother. It's much more fluid, and you're going to see the benefit of it. That's for sure. And I love the fact that at this price point, you're getting you get these displays are 120 hertz. You don't normally see that at this price point, and we shouldn't understate that. I think it's a very important thing. I don't know if it's the 15 or the 25 watt. I'm going to look into that. That's for sure. Okay. I think we lost a little bandwidth here, but hopefully that will start to improve as the stream goes along. All right, let's take a coffee sip here. 78 of you watching, welcome everybody. Those of you joining us late, normally I start at 9 o'clock. I started at 8:30 today, only 8 Pacific time, only because I have something I need to do today. But I wanted to talk about these laptops. I did release the video this morning, and right now it's at about 1,400 views or so. So, I mean, it's doing okay. So hopefully, right now views are really down. So I'm not expecting a lot of any of the, I'm putting a lot of work in these laptops. So I'm telling you, a lot of effort goes into these. It is kind of frustrating sometimes when you release a video and you don't get the views. In fact, I did that one over there, the XPG Xenia 14. It's back in my studio here. And I didn't get 3,000 views on that. Oh, no. Oh, jeez. Robert, you've outdone yourself. I'm speechless. $150 for Robert. Wow. Unbelievable. Wow, that is super I mean, there's no words, my friend. There's no words, but truly grateful. Thank you so much for your support. Everybody give it up for Robert. He is amazing. All right, can RAM be upgraded? No. So ThinkPad X60, no, RAM cannot be upgraded. Again, I'm not going to bash him too much for that, although I do believe that a 16-inch laptop should have it at this point with this type of laptop, but it is thin, it is light, and it is at a $999 price point, pretty much. So I'll take it. If they could keep the price down as they are doing with these specs, I'm okay with that. What I would like to see, and there is the potential outside the United States of getting one, especially with the Intel model, with a 32 gigabyte option. So that would be nice. But 16 for most everyday tasks on an AMD Ryzen 7 5800H is going to be fine. You're going to be good with that. Yeah, I know, right, Rupu? He's amazing. The guy's so super generous. All right, pricing, and I went over the pricing a little bit, but I can only give you what I know here in the United States. For Europe and elsewhere, it's easy to find. Just go on the internet. You can see what your country, if it's selling there. Here's what I know. The Ryzen 7 model, and that's this one right here, with the core, with the Ryzen 7 5800H minus the discrete GPU. It has integrated Radeon graphics. Goes for $999 over at Costco. Link is in the description of the live stream. I'm not affiliated with them. I do not get a commission, but I did put the link for you to check it out. Now, that's good because that's in the United States. We don't normally see these available here, so that is good. That's nice and accessible. You do have to be a member of Costco, but I think for $1,000 and then you get a Costco membership, you get a lot of benefit from that. I'm not affiliated with them. Like I said, I'm not making any money off of that. I'm just telling you the way I see it. Now, this one I found on Amazon, and link is in the description below. For the Core i5 model, it's the Core i5 11300H. 4 cores, I think that's 4 cores, 8 threads. I believe it has the MX450, and I believe it's going for $929. Again, nice price, and the Core i5 is going to be fine for a student who's going back to school, for a person who needs a general-purpose laptop. It's going to be very good, especially with the 120 hertz display. I think that one has the 120 hertz, but double-check before you buy it. And I think they're really good in that regard. So there you go. So according to Duck Vision, the AMD version with the 1650 is currently $1,099 at Micro Center. That is great, Duck. If you could put the link in the chat, that would be great for those who are interested in that. And that's $1,100. And I got to say, that's a steal too. That's a pretty good one. Just make sure you get the one with the 120 hertz. I'm sure the 60 hertz option, if there is one, would be fine. But 120 hertz at this price point, that's pretty impressive to say the least. And these are not gaming laptops, but you can game on them. There's no question about that. Either one of these. And I'll talk more about that in the upcoming full reviews. Now, info for you. Slim 7 Pro in Europe has a matte display option. That is great. 400 nits, that's great. Now, I'm going to do a follow-up on that for the Executor Raptor on the Slim 7 Pro that I have here. Now, I do have one coming with the Intel model, 14-inch Slim 7 Pro, but for the Intel model, and that's coming. I have that coming this week. So I'm going to compare the two. That's going to be pretty interesting. So there you go. How much for the 3050 Ti model? So I don't have here in the United States, there's not available. Outside the United States, I think Singapore might get it, and I'm not sure what other countries, but there you go. I'm not really sure about which RTX 3000 series that GPU they're going with. So the link is here, people. Go to that link. It's in the chat for those interested. And again, when I'm done, I'll drop it in the description as well for those watching on the replay. So 10 ways of saying the Micro Centers is a 512 gigabyte SSD, but I'd rather trade storage for the 1650. 512, easily upgradable, and one of the great parts, and I show it in the video that I released this morning, you can upgrade this easily yourself as far as the SSD, although the 512, this came with 512, this came with a gigabyte. So this is 512, the one that I have here, but the one at Costco, I believe, has a gigabyte. 1 terabyte, rather. 1 terabyte. This has 512 gigabytes. Very fast on both of these, by the way. Over 3,000 in terms of the reads and the writes have been very good. So really, the takeaway is these are a steal. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't say that lightly, and I'm not saying it. I'm not getting a commission with Costco. I'm not affiliated with them. So I can tell you right now, there you go. Now, will the $929 suffice for universities doing computer science? So $929, you're talking about the Intel one with the Core i5 for computer science. Yeah, I can see it doing general purpose work. Now, it does have an MX 450 GPU, that might help a little bit, but there you go. All right. Would you recommend, according to Jeremy Tarter, would you recommend this laptop or the Surface Laptop 4, 15 Ryzen 4900U? I am leaning towards the Surface Laptop because of the keyboard. Yeah, the keyboard is going to be better on the Surface Laptop 4. I really am a big fan of the Surface keyboards. And the Windows just works better on the Surface devices? Absolutely, because obviously Microsoft has optimized their devices for it. But don't discount these. These are good. I do like the keyboard better. I agree, Jeremy, on the Laptop 4. One of them you can upgrade later on. The other one, good luck. Well, oh yeah. So I don't know. Are you talking about the Slim 7 Pro? I'm going to talk more about that when I do get it into the studio. All right, Intel or Ryzen, which one? What do I have to buy? So performance-wise, you're going to do better. I think, obviously, the numbers show it on the AMD variant, and the one at Costco will not have the GTX 1650, so please keep that in mind. But there is one over at Micro Center that Duck Vision put as a link in the chat that is for $100 more, will get you the discrete GPU, but it'll have less storage. But the storage, you could always upgrade pretty cheap yourself. It is accessible to the user. I showed you in the video. So there you go. So which would I go with? Probably lean toward the Ryzen version, although this one shows a little bit more fingerprints than this one, by the way. And Lich Tick says, but the Surface Laptop 4 is way more expensive than this one. I agree, it is more expensive. This is a great price to performance ratio. So it's just a matter of personal preference. The Surface devices are pretty excellent in terms of the build. They're a top notch, a little step above this, although there's no flex on these. These are rock solid. You could probably see it here. The lid, and I love the minimal branding on it. And you can see here, you see a little bit, you can see a little fingerprints on this one a little bit more, but both look beautiful. I like this silver, I like this dark gray. It looks really nice. GPU, oh, okay, you're talking about GPU versus storage. Well, the storage obviously is upgradable, but not the GPU. That is correct. I'm happy laptops are not using glossy displays, and that makes two of us. That makes two of us, fan, because this one, and by the way, and I can show you here, you can open these lids with one finger. Not that it matters to some people, but for those that it does, you can do it. Really good engineering, and there's very little screen wobble. I mean, very little. This is pretty tight on there. It's pretty rock solid. I'm impressed. I really have very little negatives to this. The negatives, I would say, are the speakers. Not a deal breaker, because most people are going to use a good pair of headphones anyway. And then The other negative is, of course, the RAM is soldered in, and I can't get here in the United States anything above 16 gigabytes. Having said that, on the AMD model, not much of an issue because 16 gigabytes running in dual channel, which they are, is pretty great, especially with the Ryzen 7 5800H, as well as the Core i7 on this one. So really good. Good, Jan Henrik. Here, there is a brand new Lenovo IdeaPad 3 Chromebook for only 300 euros. Wonder what it can do? Yeah, Chromebooks are they're improving. They're improving. I haven't done a Chromebook in a while, but I noticed that Chromebooks are starting to get more premium. That's for sure. For programming, Alazar, it depends on what you're doing. I guess you could do programming on these. I don't see why you couldn't. It has a discrete GPU on this one, particular one, 1650. On this one, the MX 450. But I'm not a programmer, so I'm not the person to ask. However, I wouldn't see, I mean, unless it's really demanding, I mean, I'm sure this can do the job. That's pretty much what my takeaway is. But again, I'm not a programmer, so take it for what it's worth. What do you think about this laptop for Blender artists? I don't know. I don't really use that program, so it's hard for me to tell you, Abhinav, but maybe there are other videos out there that will tell you. All right, people, let's see where we are. We're now, we got 90 of you watching, 48 minutes into live stream. How is everybody? For those joining us late, we're looking at the Lenovo IdeaPad 5 Pro 16-inch, both the AMD and the Intel model. The one on the left is the AMD. The one on the right is the Intel. Super impressed for about $1,000 or so. What you can get right now, 16-inch QHD 2.5K display, 16:10 aspect ratio, 120 hertz refresh rate. Yes, you heard that right. 120 hertz refresh rate on these, which is not something you see at this price point. Pretty amazing. Pretty good deal, and I'm glad I got my hands on these. And good to see Nadine. How are you? We haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Hope your move, and I believe it was to Colorado. Hope it went well. Good to see you. Are these screens touch screens? They are not. They are non-touch displays. So you cannot use your finger. There's no pen support, obviously, but they are non-touch displays. So for those that want a touch display, you want to go with the Surface laptop. That is a touch display. Can you replace your MacBook Pro 16 with this? Probably not, because I use it as a Mac because I'm using Final Cut Pro. So no, fan. Yeah, it's good to, right? Handquake, it's good to see Nadine. Good to see Mallory here also. I'm happy to see both of them. We missed you both, so I'm glad both of them are here. Yes, I agree, Robert. They definitely are a solid buy. In fact, it really turns the idea of a budget laptop on its head, really, because you're getting some pretty amazing price to performance ratio here. Washington State, there you go, Washington State. And it is raining. What a surprise. For those on the East Coast, be careful. Of course, the hurricane Henri is hitting, and you want to make sure you're safe. So getting back to what Robert says, yeah, absolutely a great buy. Great buy. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised, but I'm really starting to reevaluate, well, what do I want in a laptop? Because at $999 or approximately between these two, you're getting a 16-inch, 16:10, 2.5K display. It's bright, sharp. It pretty much does very well. It's got good color accuracy. Coverage of the color gamut is decent. I mean, at this price point, how could you go wrong? It's a matte display. There's no glare, no reflection. So, and good to see Jeff here. Raining on the West Coast and raining on the East Coast with Henri. Yes, Jeff, good to see you. I hope you've been well. Do you think that the 4K display in a laptop, whatever size, is worth it? It just depends. You're going to take a hit on battery life, especially if you go with an OLED display or AMOLED display. But an IPS display 4K, if you're doing color grading, if you're doing Photoshop, if you're doing Lightroom, if you're doing video editing, yeah, I think 4K, the more pixels is good. Oh, you like my videos? Keep it up. Yeah, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best during this downtime because right now views are down. I released a video that didn't even get 3,000 views. I can't, I can believe it, but it's happening, and we just got to weather through the storm, so to speak, no pun intended. Not a real storm, but you know what I mean. All right. Lots of rain in Washington. Keep your umbrellas close. Yes, very close, right, Robert? There you go. So Arno just ordered one for his sister who's starting in graphic design in Belgium. This is very important, people. In Belgium, they have the option with the RTX 3050 and the Ryzen 7. Wow, that's great, Arno. And that would be a really great option here in the United States. I'm just wondering what, I guess in euros, what you paid for it, because that is a nice combination, although the 3050 is a pretty impressive GPU as opposed to, say, something like the 1650. There you go. And yes, I appreciate that, Dan. Do you think the Dell XPS are overpriced after this? No. Well, they are overpriced, but I understand why they're overpriced. But the display on the Dell XPS 15 or even the 17 are more superior than this, even at 60 hertz, although having 120 hertz should not be discounted here. But those displays are just on another level. And then you're paying for it, right? $3,000 or so. This is a fraction of that. This is a third of that price. And look what you're getting. That goes to show you what budget means now. Doesn't necessarily mean cheap, or doesn't necessarily mean bad. It means you can get some good price to performance value there. The specs differ from country to country. That is correct. And I would love to see Lenovo make it more consistent across the different regions. That would be great. That would be fantastic. Is there a difference between these two in boot times? I noticed that my Intel laptop starts up way faster. Well, we can try that, right? So let's see. Let's do a boot up. And I just hope I don't have any updates ready to go. So just bear that in mind. So I'm going to restart these at the same time, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, there's no updates that are gonna install. We'll just do a on the fly here, test here, informal test. So we'll see. On the right is the Intel. On the left is the AMD. So far, the boot screen is already on the Intel, and we just got the AMD, so lagging behind a little bit. Boot time is faster on the Intel. Yep, that's already loaded up, and this one just is getting loaded up right now. So, yes, you are correct. Very good call, my friend. Intel was a faster boot time. Jeremy is asking, Andrew, what are your expectations for the Surface Pro 8? I'm thinking it's going to look more like a Surface Pro X in terms of the exterior, in terms of the looks, hopefully. So I would like to see it more in line with that. As thin as that would be great. I would like to see better, more modern CPU options, of course, better performance, and of course, less reflective displays and thinner bezels, like I said, on the Surface Pro X. That's what I would like to see from the Surface Pro 8, and that's probably what we should expect, right? Greetings from Syria. How are you, my friend? Thank you for your blessing us with your great informative reviews. This is the first time I watched the live, and I can't wait to join the rest. Oh, okay. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Michelle. And welcome from Syria. All right. All right, let's, okay. So Arno, what I asked you earlier, how much? So it's 1,200 euros, not cheap, but it does have a terabyte of storage, and you are getting... Actually, that's a great price when you think about it. I know when we convert it to dollars, it's a little expensive, but you're getting an RTX 3050, right? That's a pretty nice, very capable GPU. You're getting the AMD Ryzen 7, right? 5800H, Zen 3, Ryzen 7. That's pretty good. And you're getting a 16-inch, 120 hertz, 2.5K display. What could go wrong, right? How could you go wrong on that? So I think that's a pretty good deal, especially in the climate we're in right now, where it's hard to get anything. So I really love nowadays how companies make budget laptops with good quality, even though they're around $1,000. They're not garbage like before. We're just seeing e-waste before, right? So very, very good in terms of what you're getting is price to value. In other words, you're no longer, when you're under a certain amount, you're not getting cheap crap. You're getting something that's pretty good in terms of specs, in terms of build quality. And this is a proof positive of that, right? I mean, the build on this is fantastic. It's rock solid. It's as good as any flagship out there. The display is bright enough. It's definitely beautiful enough. It's a 16-inch 16:10. I love that. So you're going to do less scrolling when it comes to web browsing. It's absolutely great. If there's any negative, it's availability, right? A handquake, I started early today. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm glad you were able to find us, of course. But I had to start early because I have things to do today. So I started 8:30 instead of 9. I didn't want to miss out today. So thanks for joining, of course. Wow. Okay. So according to William, for the price, you can buy almost 3 of these units for the price of 1 Dell unit. And yeah, I mean, you cannot argue with the numbers, right? You cannot argue with the numbers. Get some coffee there. So price to performance, yeah, these are better values than the Dell. But obviously the Dell, you're paying for the name, you're paying for the premium flagship quality, of course, and so forth. Does the AMD variant get hot on despite normal workload? For someone I saw, their one got hot. I'm still working on the thermals on these, and I will talk more about them in the upcoming review. So far, I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary as far as the AMD or the Intel, for that matter. I think it's staying pretty cool. It does get a little bit warm under heavy load. We'll talk more about the fans. By the way, the fans on these, there are 2 fans, and I opened it up in the video I released this morning. And that you can see that there were 2 fans, and they do kick in under heavy load, not loud at all, very quiet, very quiet. So according to Jeff, Dell and Apple are probably the 2 more expensive brands out there today. Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah, they're both very expensive. Apple is very expensive, and so is Dell. And Lenovo, the ThinkPads are coming in very, very high so far this year. So we'll see. What brand is the best value? It's not that there was one particular brand. It's what particular laptop is the best value. And I got to say, so far, these are looking very good in that regard. That's a crazy setup you got there. Cool. Yeah. So thank you, Mihai. So we got, let's go over the cameras. I like to do it at least once a live stream. So we've got, this is camera 2. This is camera 1. This is a Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro from Blackmagic. This is my pride and joy right now. I've been using it. I film in 6K, and then I scale it down to 4K 60 for my videos. This is the Sony A6400 with a Sigma lens on it. It's the I believe it's a 16 millimeter lens. And then this is the overhead cam. I've gone over this. This is one I've had for like 5 years. This is the Sony FDR AX33 prosumer camera. And then I have the FDR 700 here from Sony as well. I've had that for like 3-4 years at least. And then there's my laptop tile floor that I am single-handedly caused the shortage of the laptops, as you can see. That camera is the Sony ZV-1. They've already recently come out with a new follow-up to that. But that's the cameras in a nutshell. I can do 4-on-1 display here. So if you go here, I have my Blackmagic 810 Mini. That's the 8 camera switcher. It's got 8 inputs that I can switch. And of course here you can see sort of over here, or actually you can see it here, is my Rode what is it? The Rode Procaster? I think that's what it's called. Rodecaster Pro. Their naming is terrible. Rodecaster Pro, that I could do my audio mixing on it. And I have things such, I could do applause, we could do laughter, we can do this.
Coming up.
And then, of course, I can play music. I can do all sorts of things. And then, of course, I can even take phone calls, which I haven't done in a long time, and whatever. Just a bit of news, people. I did order the Fold 3. It's already shipped. I should have it before the 25th. I have the Galaxy Watch 4 coming with that as well. I also have the case with the S Pen coming for that. So the Fold 3 on the way. I want to start doing more phone stuff. That one looks like a pretty interesting one. Yeah, so I've been crypto mining, and that's one of the reasons I've become super rich, which is not. Yes, I can do crypto mining. I'm not doing that, people, so don't even think I'm doing that. That is my new style. I'm going to be tiling this whole studio in laptops if we keep it up. A lot of those are going back. So many laptops will do a giveaway. It's not mine to give away, unfortunately, most of them at least. So Duck is asking, have you heard anything on the NV15 3060 having Thunderbolt support? I'm currently looking to get one of those. I have a question out to them. So Duck, stay tuned. I'm waiting on an answer from HP. I'm waiting on them. They're not even sure. That goes to show you the marketing is not great. I will let you know. Now, the NV15, I know you asked a question. I meant to answer it. I know you asked whether it's the old panel. I didn't notice that mesh layer that I saw before, but don't quote me on that. I'm going to look at that again just to make sure. And I appreciate that for the $5 super chat from Duck Vision. So I appreciate that, my friend. So I'm looking into it. I will let you know. Don't get an Extreme Gen 3 because I'm going to be getting the Extreme Gen 4 in. Gen 4 won't cut it because no OLED. Strike what I just said. Yeah, they're not doing OLED this year in the Gen 4, unfortunately. I'm going to, as soon as I hear anything, Doc, I promise you I will reach out to you and let you know what the deal is on that OLED. We'll be very interested to hear what you think of the Fold 3. Yeah, I've got one coming in, Robert, with the watch as well. I want to use them together. I have 21 days to use it before I have to return it because I do have the Fold 2, and that did show up, and I'll do another follow-up video on that. If I do decide to keep it, I will probably sell my Fold 2, and then we'll see. But again, I don't know. They have that try for 21 days, so let's see what happens with it, and I am looking forward to it. I appreciate that, Robert, and thank you so much for that very, very generous super chat. And you've been more than generous, that's for sure. All right. How do you compare these Lenovo products with the new Dell Inspiron 16? Thank you for bringing that up, Manuel. I do have one coming from Dell. I'm just waiting on that. So, and as far as the Inspiron 16 is coming. I don't have an exact date yet, but I will let you know. I did speak with Dell. And then as far as the Swift XR7, I don't have that. I'm looking into getting that as well. So stay tuned, Manuel. I think we're going to have a good selection there to choose from. Again, I don't want to say which one. I haven't reviewed them yet, so stay tuned. The cheapest Dell XPS 15, according to Jan Henrik, is 9510. It starts at 2,700 euros in the Nordics, 512 SSD, 16 gigabytes of RAM. Pay 3,300 euros, you get 1 terabyte, 32. Thunderbolt is crucial. Wow, those are very, very expensive prices. And we're seeing the same thing here in the U.S. Maybe not quite as bad as that, but they're high. The prices are high. There is a supply shortage. It is affecting price. I'm pretty sure of it. So, yeah, they're expensive. I love the Dell. Look, I love the Dell XPS 15 9510. I bought one, and I'm loving it. I have the Core i9. You don't need the Core i9. Get the Core i7. I have the 3050 Ti. I'm loving it. I'm using it every day, and I'm loving it. All right, what's your view on the Lenovo Yoga 6 Ryzen 7? I did the Yoga 6. I don't know if it was Ryzen 7. Check out my channel, but I'd love to review the Ryzen 7 with any updated GPUs and so forth, or CPUs rather. No problem, Duck Vision. Thanks for looking into it. My Gen 2 Extreme OLED had that, and it was annoying. My brother needed a laptop, so I sold it to him cheap. Yeah, so what he's talking about, and you find that on that one and on the NV15, is the OLED is a mesh layer. You almost see like a mesh layer if you look really close. I'll double check on the one I have, and I'll get back to you on that. As far as that OLED, a little bit of an issue for some people. I didn't really notice it last year that it was an issue. But some people are very particular, and they will notice it. And once you look at it, you cannot unsee it, right? So I totally get it. Do I do the... Yeah, so for the Dell, what I've been doing, and I use mostly the Mac, which you see here, the MacBook Pro 16 for Final Cut Pro. But since I got this Blackmagic Cinema camera that you see this one on, I've been using DaVinci Resolve to not only do color grading, but for other things as well. And I've been doing it on the Dell, and I got to say, working very well. And the update is working very well. I want to show you the camera in a moment. Just give me a second while you look at these. So you can see it here. This is the Blackmagic the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro. It's a 6K camera that does Blackmagic RAW. It's a very high quality codec, and it looks pretty good. And I got to tell you, and this is what it looks like in a live stream, and I think it's pretty good. I've been using it in my videos. All right, what is the best laptop that you recommend for under $800? So you got the Flex 5 from Lenovo is a big, very popular one. A lot of people are still buying them over at Amazon. I did the review of that last year. That is very popular, under $800. Another one that I've been really liking, I'm surprised more people are not talking about, is the HP Pavilion Aero 13 that I reviewed. 13-inch display, 16:10 aspect ratio. That's looking good so far. That one also comes in at a very good price, around that price range. Maybe you want to check that out. Go over to my channel. I've got a full review on that coming as well. Yeah, Jan Henrik, the euro currency is very expensive. Obviously, when you're buying in Europe, you're paying the euros, and they are charging you an arm and a leg, that's for sure. Looking forward to visit U.S. when the pandemic is over. We should start a tech cafe meeting. If you do come here, come to Vegas, my friend. We can definitely do that. We can definitely do that. Come during CES. It's going to be in person. And you, as long as you're vaccinated, they're going to let you come in, I guess. Ordered the HP Pavilion Aero 13. Won't get it until 10/16. Long time to wait. Yeah. So I spoke with somebody at HP, a contact that I have at HP, not regarding, more for the supply chain. And they were telling me that the supplies are really constrained right now. And that's why you're seeing 1 to 2 months, 3 months lead time when you order a product, which is obviously disheartening. And I don't see it clearing up anytime soon. Hopefully they won't be so bad as far as and I hope it doesn't affect the season coming up, the holiday season. That's going to not be good for me. That's for sure. Or you, or anybody. So good afternoon, Andrew. How do you buy the AMD version with a dedicated graphics card? So Bento, look, Duck Vision put a link in the chat for Micro Center. I don't know how you can order it through them, but go to that link. That has the dedicated GPU, the GTX 1650, the AMD Ryzen 7 5800H. So check out that link that Duck Vision put in there. Hopefully that can give you a little bit more clarity. Intel's a little bit more optimized for Photoshop. I'm still waiting for Lenovo to release the Yoga Tab 13 here in the US. Yeah, I'm going to reach out. I meant to speak to Lenovo about that. I'm interested in that one as well, Jeff. Stay tuned if I hear anything. And thank you, Duck, for once again posting the link to Micro Center for that Lenovo IdeaPad Pro 16. I appreciate that. We all do. So we got 84 of you watching. Turns out to be a really, really nice live stream today. Let's see how it likes. We've got 82 likes, 89 people watching. People, hit that thumbs up. It really does help. And I hate to harp on it, but it does help spread it out over YouTube. If you show more interest in it, and they will serve it to more people. Not everybody's getting the notifications. That's just the reality of my videos anymore. A lot of subscribers are not getting notified when I go live. They're not getting notified of my videos when they're released. So very, very discouraging, to be honest. I agree, Robert. We should definitely do something at CES this year. Vegas Brown, yeah. So as we get closer, Robert, we can organize. I can organize something for around the CES that we can do. Definitely a get together. Maybe I can rent out a place, or we can even do it maybe here. I don't know. We could do something if enough people are interested. And we can definitely do a meet and greet kind of thing. That would be a lot of fun. I would love to meet some of you in person. And one of the things that CES is requiring for people to come into CES to attend the show is that they are requiring vaccinations. So they're looking into whether or not they're going to accept people who have the antibody test, who show a negative or positive for the antibodies, meaning they've had it and then they have the antibodies rather. They're going to let those people in, maybe. So I don't know, but that's the latest on CES. But things could change. Who knows what the hell is going to happen? Yeah, and exactly my point, Douglas. You were not notified, but I still look forward to my Sunday Tech Fix. So no, I did start early today because I have something to do. But yes, not getting notified. YouTube does not send I'm pretty upset about it, but what can I do, right? So the best I can do is be consistent. Hopefully people will show up, do the best I can, and hopefully things will fall into place. Look, on a really down time, we still have 90 of you watching. That's pretty good for a live stream on a Sunday morning when things are really, all views of all tech are down. So I can't really complain. My channel is growing. We're going to hit 117,000 soon. So really good. That sounds awesome. I agree, Robert. I'm in for whatever support you might need. Thank you, Robert. As we get closer and we get more information, we can definitely arrange a meet and greet and a meetup here in Vegas. It would be a lot of fun. I'd like to meet some of you people. Would be just a lot of fun, and look for that good opportunity. Hopefully we will get that organized. So we're at, let's see, we've been doing an hour and 13 minutes. I don't know how much longer we're going to go. I did start early, but we are going a little bit more than I thought we were going to do today. So for those joining us late, these are the ones we're talking about. I released a video this morning. It's the Lenovo IdeaPad 5 Pro 16. There are 16-inch laptops that won't break the bank. You're getting a 16-inch, 2.5K, 16 to 10, 120 hertz refresh rate display. That is right. You did not mishear me. That is true. It's 120 hertz. Very, very nice. Yes, I have your information, man. We'll definitely organize it. For sure. All right. ZZ Top, Viva Las Vegas. Yes. According to Jeremy, I feel the Alcantara on the Surface laptop is very comfortable, but there is much flex or too much flex. We'll go with the metal. Yeah, so the metal is good. That's a very rock solid in terms of the build. They do a really great job at Microsoft. I just want to see really good specs this time as far as the processing power and so forth. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see them to be on par with the other OEMs. Don't be one chip behind or one generation behind. I want to see them get current chips on those. Okay, regarding your channel, it is not the only number of viewers, but the great quality of the reviewer. Thank you. I appreciate that, William. That does mean a lot. You're a big supporter of the channel, as Robert, as well as the other people, Duck Vision, Handquake, everybody, Mallory, Nadine, all of you, really good stuff. Even Than, when he behaves, though. All right. So, yeah, I appreciate that. So we're doing okay. Look, don't get me wrong here. We're doing okay. We're growing. We may not be growing as fast as we were growing before, but we're growing. We're making progress here. We're going to hit 117,000. My goal for the year is 120,000. We're on target for that. I should get that, hopefully. Once I get to 120,000, we just passed 24 million views, by the way, this past week. So I appreciate everybody's support. I want to thank everybody. 24 million views. Can you believe that? I can't believe it. It still blows my mind to this day. So there you go. According to Michelle, please help me understand the benefit of 120 hertz display for watching movies experience. You won't, I don't think movies would be so much, although if there's a lot of fast moving action, you'll definitely see less blur effect, less jelly effect kind of thing. You'll see a more smoother scrolling, more smooth or more fluid experience. But where you're going to see it is like web browsing, when you're scrolling on web pages, when you're playing games. That higher refresh rate really does come into play, and it really does make a better experience, overall experience. And there you go. Thank you. I appreciate that, Nadine. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Robert, as well. So that's the difference, Michelle, for the 120 hertz. And by the way, it's not something we normally see on this price level of laptop, not this level of laptop. We don't normally see that. We normally see just a standard 60 hertz display. And by the way, the Dell XPS 15 and 17 are 60 hertz displays. They don't have the best response times either. These are much better in that regard. However, they won't be as bright, although these are bright, about 360 nits or so. Let me move this. But they're good nonetheless. And these are really good, especially for $1,000, 16 to 10, 120 hertz. Really? Yeah, that's really. Does it really make much of a difference in productivity? I think it does, actually, because I do a lot of productivity work, and having more on a taller aspect of the display means you'll do less scrolling when it comes to web browsing. So if I go to, say, my web page, which I haven't updated in months, and I'm embarrassed, and you'll see here, this is a, is it connected? Yeah. This is a 16 to 10 display. You're already seeing more than you would on a 16 to 9. And look at how smooth. It's hard to show it. I'm at 60 hertz. So what I'm running now is 60 frames per second on this web. It should be 60. I didn't even check. So this should be 60 frames. Yeah, it is 1080p, 60 frames per second. And this, it's hard to show it in a video or a live stream, of course. But if you saw this in person, you're going to notice how smooth it is. And it's the same thing on a smartphone, by the way. You're going to notice it on the smartphone, the same thing. So you don't see any ghosting effect. It's just beautiful. I can't really show it to you. You have to see it in person. It's one of those things. Wasn't there an HP recently reviewed with a higher refresh rate on its monitor? I did, but I don't remember what it was, Jeff. That's a good question. An HP recently with a higher refresh rate. I did. Oh, I'd have to think about that. That's a good, I've got the laptop tiles here back there. I'd have to look. I'll look into that. All right. So I think we're going to start to wrap it up here. All right. So this has been a very good live stream, people. I think we're going to wrap it up here because I've been doing this for about an hour and 19 minutes. I did start early, but we're going to end really pretty much around the same time, I guess. Well, maybe a little bit earlier, obviously. But we did get an hour and 20 minutes in. So I want to say thank you to everybody as we bring in the music. I want to thank the moderators for doing an excellent job once again, for everybody showing up, doing a really good job on the chat today. I really want to thank everybody. You got it, William. Thank you. Take care. Another good live stream. Again, can't thank you people enough. 24 million views. We're going to hit 117,000 subscribers. So if you're not already subscribed, do me that favor. Hit that subscribe button. And a lot of good stuff. As you can see, I'm getting the good stuff here. So I need your support. We need to watch this. We need to spread this out. I need you to start sharing this stuff. I need this to get spread out. We're going to grow this. We're going to get even bigger. It's going to be better. So I promise you that. Take care, Handquake, and I will see you, that's right, you, in the next video. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. Bye-bye.